I would like to invite up now Mr. Gary Helmbold up to the stage. No, I feel like he should as well. He was a theater teacher for a number of years, so I felt appropriate that we be a little dramatic here. Perfect. We're going to actually start off with Nathan over here and then work our way down.
Oh, you're bald.
You're in good company.
I never knew that.
All right, well, so for those who don't know me, I'm Nathan Carpenter, graduated in 04. Hope I'm holding this microphone correctly. So we're honored to be presenting this award for the Lifetime Achievement of Excellence and Dedication in Education for Gary Helmbold. Gary inspired many of you, many of us. There was an experience. So I was in a couple of plays in high school, and I made sure to let Mr. H or Gary know that I was not good at memorizing lines at all. I was terrible. I had bad memory, couldn't do it. So, I made sure to let him know that. He made sure to give me all of the lines that, the parts that had the most lines in the plays that I was in. So, but he always believed in me. He always knew that better than I did of what I could accomplish. And I'm sure that was true for many of you. One other experience during my senior year, we were doing the play Our Town. So there's one of the parts in that play was that of like a narrator character. And he decided that narrator character needed to be split into two parts, a male and a female part. And during one of the I can't remember if it was between rehearsals or something, but he was excited to tell me that after he had made that decision, he found out later that ASU was putting on the same play, and they made that same decision to split the part into two parts. And so it was kind of exciting to be part of that. But we're glad to honor him, and I'll pass this off to you.
Thank you. Okay, start off with a quote. It's not mine. Here we go. I remember a student consulting Gary after class and confessing that she was distressed about opening night of that semester's play and asking him for advice about how to manage her nerves. After an acknowledging nod, he said, "Have you tried projectile vomiting?" And of course, Gary went on to offer her encouragement and advice. And this is a favorite memory from Ben Puente, the cat in the hat. Do you remember him? Okay. So, Gary, I asked a handful of students that couldn't make it tonight to share some memories and stories about you. And for those of you who don't know me really fast, my name is Marissa Jones. I graduated in 2009, and I'm part of his drama teacher legacy. Me, Tyson, Corinne Mann, Clement Mann, and like a handful of others. Anyway, now I'm teaching art and Latin at Heritage Gateway, so that's pretty fun. But enough about me. Here we go. Natalia Smith Brown. Mr. Helmbold was such an inspiring teacher. He could see potential better than anyone I know. He was witty and unpredictable, and everything good we didn't know we needed in a teacher and a friend. He gave us his heart and soul. Corinne Clement Mann said, "One thing I really appreciated about him is he gave actors the space to try things, and he really emphasized not copying other people's performances, but coming from your own experience. That is really hard for high school students." I really respect that. He gave me space to build my own confidence organically as a performer and an actor. I felt like a professional when I was with him. That's invaluable. Mitchell Bates said, "In drama, I remember just having so much fun. He always seemed to see where everyone could shine." Anisha Smith Hill shared this story lastly. "I was in the musical my senior year and got to play the mother of a main character. She and the other lead played the main love interests, and I felt felt that they often seemed stiff together on a stage. One day during play practice, I saw them give each other a natural and friendly hug, and I loudly said to them, "That's how you should act when you're on stage." Almost immediately, I felt a hand on my shoulder and heard Mr. Helmbold's gentle but serious voice as he walked me away from them, saying, "Don't correct her. Your job is to be her mother. Take care of her and encourage her." His words penetrated me, and I determined I would be exactly what he said to be. I let go of my criticisms and did my best to be cheerful and helpful, and not just to my daughter, but to all my cast members and friends. I was able to connect with people in more meaningful ways because they could trust that I cared about them without casting judgment on them. I was taking care and encouraging others. I don't have much more to add, Mr. Helmbold, except to say that I'm glad I didn't vomit when I came up here. Oh, I thought about it. Yeah, no, don't even get started. But yeah, you didn't just teach us how to be good actors, but how to be better people. And I know that teaching can sometimes be a thankless job, and it's hard, and you always have to put on a happy face and motivate even when you don't feel like it. But thank you for doing that for thousands of students, and I love you.
I've got one more story for Gary. Gary was actually a really big influence in my life in a lot of ways. So I'm going to share a little bit about me, not for me, but just to give you context. So I was a student of Gary's in high school, and he was the first director to give me my first role. And I was really terrible. I tell people all the time I'm not talented. I had to work very, very hard to get anywhere. But Gary, as it was echoed in here, I don't know what he saw in me, but he saw something, and I got the acting bug bit. And so I made a few goals in my life, but one of the goals that I made was that I wanted to become not only a actor or pursue theater, but I also wanted to become a teacher. And I always joked that I'd come back and steal Gary's job. Unfortunately, he retired about a year too early, so I had to wait on that one. And in another series of fortunate events, it's actually ironic that we're in this backyard because this is also my home away from home. I grew up doing theater with the Clement family and Marcus Ellsworth, and I eventually got to take over Marcus's program when he left Levine to go and start Maricopa. So this job to me felt like these two beautiful worlds coming together. So with that kind of a pretext, I wanted to kind of share with you actually an experience I had with Gary really recently. So my first year teaching full-time, Levine's a little crazy because Marcus Ellsworth's a little crazy, and they do 5 shows a year out there. So we were very busy. Come see Newsies in April. That's the only plug you're going to get from me tonight. We were really, really busy, and our season got cut short that first year because of COVID. My first year teaching out there was 2019, 2020. And so I felt really bad when I had to cancel those spring productions. Like, it felt like the worst thing ever. And so I made a vow when we got back to normal, or as normal as we can define normal in today's day and age, that we were going to come back in full force. So I decided to choose a show that I thought was a great show that I had heard growing up, and really I thought encapsulated this idea of chasing dreams, and that was Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. And a little bit more context, the semester before Marcus Ellsworth had left that program, he did a production of West Side Story, and he had cast adults as all the adult roles, so other teachers that were on campus. And it was a really great success, the kids felt like. So we had just gotten at Levine, this brand new theater, and I thought the perfect way to honor heritage and honor the shoulders of the giants who kind of, I now stand upon, would be to invite Marcus and Gary to come and participate in the show. So I cast Gary as Jacob, and I cast Marcus and myself as the butler and the baker. And so Gary had a wonderful long beard that went down much, much further than this. It was fantastic. He was very hesitant at first to accept this role. He wanted to be sure that he wasn't taking it away from a student. And I had to kind of explain to him, kind of what happened the semester before, or the year before, and how that all worked. And I could tell he really wanted to do it, and he said yes. And so he came up. So Gary, being that great inspiration, and me wanting to, inspire him, and, my biggest strength and my biggest weakness in life are kind of the same thing. It's that I dream really, really big, and then sometimes I don't have like the rubber meets the road kind of mentality. That's been something I've had to kind of work at a lot. So I wanted to go big. Part of that was I wanted to honor this great space, honor this new beautiful building, honor Gary, and I wanted to make Gary proud. I wanted to show him, the path that I had kind of taken. And so we set off on this really great journey of Joseph. In the beginning, it was great. We had hired some musicians. We were going to have live music. It was fantastic. And then we got to Tech Week, and it was the worst experience of my life up until this point. The show had not come together. The actors did not know what was going on. We had so many technical problems going into it. And all of a sudden, my whole world came kind of crashing down before me. I think at one point I had leaned over to Gary and my production team and I said, "This feels like drowning in slow motion." It was pretty bad. On a Tuesday night, I had rethought my entire life, every decision I'd ever made, the decision to do Joseph, everything. But there was one constant person that was right there by my side who jumped in and helped with blocking, who jumped in and helped coordinate everything, and that was Mr. Gary Helmbold. I had thought that I was bringing Gary in there to show him all of the work that we had accomplished. Little did I know that really what was happening was Gary was coming to teach me yet again. The beautiful thing I love about Heritage, and I love about the teachers at Heritage, because I think they're some of the finest, most noblest teachers that teach at Heritage Academy, is that they never really stop being your teacher. Even though age and time move on, you still feel that connection and that result that way. And I can't think of a person who I am more grateful for than Gary Helmbold. So if we could please join us in a round of applause of honoring him here tonight. Just so you know, in case you're wondering, by opening night, the kids were phenomenal, everything went great, it all came back together, and that was a huge in part to Gary Helmbold. So, Gary, we would like to present this Lifetime Achievement Award to you. You want to say any words?
Is this thing on? It is so fun to be here and see all my former faculty friends and my beautiful students. Teaching in Heritage Academy for 21 years, only one time in 21 years did I wake up in the morning and think, I don't want to do this today. And that was my last day. Because I loved it. It enriched my life in ways that I couldn't even have imagined before I started. It made everything about who I am better. And the students taught me far more than I taught them. I would like to share one little anecdote about Mr. Bowers. I had a student come to me one time and say, Mr. Bowers is terrified of dwarfs. So you better not take Mr. Helmbold's class. Thank you very much for this great honor. I'll stick this on my wall and look at it every day, along with the many photos I have from productions that I was blessed in every way to be a part of. Thank you all very much.